Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Well then, Mahrez has made something of that. It's Mahrez! 2-0 to Leicester City! Next to him, Anthony Kanaka finds Wood. Wood should score! Wood finds Kanaka! Yes! Here comes Leicester again with Heskey and Ibbett! Oh, this is incredible! Got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy!
Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube.
Oof, hard work, that one. Time for the instant reaction. Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses. Apologies for my voice. Probably sums up the game if I'm being honest. Somehow still functional, but pretty bad shape. It's finished 1-0. I'll come to you, Luke. Give it to me straight. What did you make of that? Well,
yeah, I got the point. Proper ugly though, like really lack of cohesion the whole game. That was the ugliest possession-based game I've ever seen from Leicester City in a long time. But 3 points is 3 points. I'll take it. And as Doug mentioned before in the instant watch-along, really good to see some fight from the boys and some passion.
Quack, Doc, what did you make of that horror show?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main takeaway is good fight. Yeah, good fight, really. That's the main thing for me. Not great football, but hard working today. 3 points. The team seems, I don't want to say in disarray, but it's clear there's so much uncertainty about players as well, right? All of a sudden, some just disappearing like Bilal, and Mavridi's small knock as well. A 16 and 17-year-old starting as well. Like, it's a tough one here, but we got it done. And that's the main takeaway.
Yeah, well, let me give you the story of the game. So, yeah, taking a look at this, the stats showed that we really got away with one here. We didn't even really have that much possession by the end of the game as Charlton really threw everything at us. 55% possession. But look at the XG. We didn't even really get an XG of 1, yet still we got a goal. Charlton with over 3 as many chances, 3 times as much the XG, 2 big chances. But look at the shots there, 20 total shots against us. And we had to make 6 saves from Jakub. So absolutely there. But Clemo, thank you for being a member for 6 months. And he says, they're not all pretty, boys. 3 points upwards and upwards. And look, to be fair, I mean, what do you make of these stats? I'll come to you, Doug. You kind of mentioned it there. And, you know, sometimes it is about, it doesn't matter how you win them. It just matters that you do.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. But at this point of the season, with what's going on outside the field, that's why, to me, this doesn't matter too much. Because the manager has only been here for a little more than a month. He's not got no players in. We're losing good players left, right, and center, I want to say, or at the very least, rumored interest. A few injuries as well, right? Ricardo, not fit to start. Mavriди, completely out of the team today. James Justin, completely out of the team today. So, this early part of the season for me, the more points we can get on the board, the merrier. But if we played like this in 2 months' time, when the window is closed, when there is certainty about the players we have, I would be shitting myself. Now, I'm just relieved we got the result and we move.
Well, yeah, speaking of the team lineup, I want to have your take on this, Luke. So this shows you our lineup. And the fact that I've had to use this particular image rather than lineup builder is because on lineup builder, there is no Jeremy Monga. There is no Lewis Page. There is no Silko Thomas. There is no Wanya Marcel. There's so many players that aren't there. That says a lot. And just so you know, apparently this was the youngest ever lineup for a Leicester City team in a league game. So what did you make of this lineup and your overall thoughts on it?
So I was surprised that we saw Skip start again. It was hard to tell, as I mentioned earlier, like, is it just because of Winks' attitude, or is Marcy trying to get a bit of confidence back in Skip, kind of putting an arm around his shoulder and say, listen, man, I believe in you. You can get a job done here, you know, building back into a player. But unfortunately, he was anonymous for most of that first half. But what bothers me most about this is Luke Thomas persisting on starting. I've called it for ages. He's clearly somehow not rated, but never have I thought he was a dud or a donkey. What have we got to do to see Warrior come and play on that left-hand side? I do not understand. Luke Thomas is a car crash that whole game. I don't know why he persists of starting him every week, Marcy.
We'll come to that in a moment. Go on, yeah.
I'll just quickly say, I said basically the exact same thing earlier. We had to be wary of all the injuries and transfers in and out, and that means the starting 11 feels a bit half-hampered. But it's just a war crime how Woyo isn't even in the squad. What has he done? What is he doing in training to, in this situation, not even be on the bench? That's just what I don't get.
Well, that's got to be quite telling, though, surely, right? Because that's the same with Rude. Now, I don't know why we've made that signing when we're supposedly up against PSR and we scouted him for a while, but Marty literally said it's a tactical decision for him not to be involved. That implies that he thinks he's crap. Anyway, let's not talk about him as he wasn't in the squad, but let's get on with it. So if you want to do your match ratings, they do get updated live. So it's bluetintedglasses.com. There is a link to submit your ratings. You can click on that, but let's get through them. I wonder who wants to take Luke Thomas, but I'll start with an easy one. I'll go to you, Luke. Jakub Stolarczyk. Mads Manson yesterday against Chelsea had an absolute nightmare, but someone who didn't have a nightmare was the young Pole. What did you make of Jakub today?
Awesome. I've always loved Jakub. Made some amazing saves, kept us in that game big time, confident. A little bit poor on set pieces, though, I've got to be honest with you, commanding his area, but all that matters is he made those saves and he was half decent on the ball today as well. Never really had any scary moments to return the ball over.
No, I mean, the thing is, when he gave away the ball today, it was just for throw-ins higher up the pitch, right? When he kicked it long, which I'd much rather see than giving away a massive chance. We know he's not the best of it with his feet. That's why that's the only thing really dragging him down today for me. He had 1 out of 13 corner where he wasn't comfortable in the area. But other than that, he was commanding, made some great saves. My man of the match, no doubt about it. And yeah, seems like West Ham might have bought the wrong keeper.
And what would you have rated him?
I think I gave him an 8 just because the distribution was half-heartedly, I want to say, maybe.
Yeah, well, he actually got an 8.3 from you guys in the chat, so thank you for that. Made 6 saves that we saw there. 10, I mean, I think, I don't know about 10, but I mean, I think without Jakub, we definitely don't win.
For sure, we would have lost. Begovic lost.
But fair play, Sean said there, he saved us today, but had some shocking moments, which I think is probably fair. Well, all right, Luke's already called him out, his namesake, so I'll come to you, Doug. Luke Thomas, he persists to be in the team. We talked about Woyo, but what did you make of Luke Thomas today?
I think it says a bit about his level because I thought this was one of his better games. His flaws are just so abundantly clear, right? And how we can be exposed with his lack of physicality, any real pace. But there was no war crimes committed from him today, but there was a few smaller chances given to it away. So I think I gave him like a 4. We move.
How about you, Luke?
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I would probably say a 4 or 5 is fair. Manny was right to point out that he has actually half decent with set pieces, but other than that, just poor for me. 5's fair.
Yeah, he got a 5.3. I just want to bring this up. I want to get some of the stats from the players so we can see them live. So he got 7.3 according to SofaScore, but looking at his stats here, 11 clearances, 3 interceptions, 1 block shot, 1 total tackle. Reasonable on the duels, but did lose possession 13 times. And I think that's the sort of big thing is we see that basically he does seem to get targeted a lot, and that is a real problem. But we'll talk about it in the analysis when we get there midweek. But it was very noticeable today that we deliberately didn't play as high up the pitch. So Luke Thomas and Yannick Vestergaard didn't get exposed as much, and it was more of a physical game. And he was okay as a result of that. I'll come to you then, Luke. How about Hamza Chowdhury? Another player you like to rant about. I know you think he should have been sold. What did you make of him overall?
He had a car crash of the first half. He gave the ball away a lot. He was really bad. But that second half, I thought he actually turned it around quite a bit. He had a few scary moments, but he's got back and he's won the ball back at least 2 or 3 times in handy moments in that game. So Hamza finished strong for me. I still wouldn't start him, to be honest with you, but he did a job today. A few good blocks as well. I would have given him a 7.
Wow, okay. How about you, Duck? What did you make of Hamza?
I thought he had a poor first half, but he really grew into it in the second. I thought he was great in the second half, not going to lie. Really grew into the game. And 6 maybe. 1 bad half, 1 good.
Yeah, and that's probably represented by the fact he got a 6. It's a difficult one. I think this probably sums it up from nil. He had burst and defended well, but as Luke said, he can't find the pass to 6. And, there we go. And it's just Sean says, it's funny how you say that, Neil. Luke Thomas still got exposed today, despite not playing so far. I actually agree with you there, Sean. If it was me, I don't think he should be playing left back. We'll come on to another player to see, because talking of our centre backs, they had sort of mixed games. What did you make of Caleb Okoli? I'll come to you, Doug. Interesting game from him.
I thought he was good defensively. I like his work rate. I like his pace. He was shocking on the ball. I think 2-3 chances at least he gave away that were very dangerous because of his playing up from the back, just not being up to scratch. I like many of his qualities, but there are glaring flaws in him. But in terms of what we got, he's got fight, he's got belief, and he seems to die for the shirt, right? Look at the block he did to deny the goal. He celebrates that like he scored a 90th minute winner. And I can respect that at the very least, especially in the moment we're in.
How about you, Luke? What did you make of Caleb?
I was reviewing that first half. I agree with Chester as well. I thought first half he was shocking. He was really poor on the ball. He turned it over quite a lot, and it worried me. But then second half, seeing that passion from him, he was doing decent at set pieces. He was copping massive knocks to the back of the head a good 2 or 3 times. Still got up. Better second half. But still, I would like to see Nelson get a start soon if he plays like that first half again. But maybe if we give him a run of games, he can get better and better. But I want to see him get better on the ball. He was quite poor today and panicked when he got closed down. I think 6.6 is generous.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's pretty generous. I think despite those blocks, I wouldn't give him more than a 6. I might even give him lower than that. I think he's really got to work on his game. And it worries me for someone who surely was signed as being a physical player that he gets bullied and dominated. I have noticed, though, that as the games go by, he's complaining less and less. I think he's starting to realise this is what the league is all about. But he concerns me. And, yeah, he shouldn't be so bad on the ball in the Championship, in my opinion, not put under as much pressure as quickly. So that's a concern for me. So, by contrast, let's talk about Yannick. Now, we talked about Thomas and Yannick being basically the big reason why we lost to Preston last week. This time round, we didn't play as high. We still mentioned that Thomas did get caught out of position quite a few times. Yannick, I thought, was rather calm overall. He definitely did miss a few headers during the game, although he also won a lot of headers too. But I personally think he actually had a very good game. But he's your fellow Dane, so talk to me, Doug. What did you make of Yannick?
I thought he showed his championship class, let me put it like that today. Not many things done wrong. There were slight moments. You could see the flashbacks to Preston North, and I think there was one time where he ended up in a bit of a pace duel, and we all nearly shat ourselves, right, because we're so nervous about it. But when that quality lack of quality there isn't exposed, he's a top-end championship defender. He was good in the air today. Still space to improve it there, but yeah, and some passion for him. I'm surprised how respectful he is about everything that's gone on in his Leicester stay, right? His redemption to then fall out again last season. And yet he's some of the ones kicking off, actually showing a bit of passion, and fair enough to him.
Yeah, well, he's ended up with a 6.3. Anything you'd like to say to that, Luke?
Yeah,
I think it's a bit low for him, to be honest. Yeah,
I would have given him 7.5. To be honest with you, I'm in agreement. I thought he had a good game. He was really good when he passed the ball. I also think that if you're going to play Yannick, though, to get the best out of him, you have to play him in a back 3. Otherwise, he can get caught, as we've seen last week. But today, I thought he had a good game. I would have given him 7 minimum.
Well, it's funny that Manny's just appeared because you know who I'm going to bring on next? It's our favourite player. It's the one that made him go viral. So he got dragged about 60 minutes. What did you make of Oliver Skipp's performance today?
It'd be too easy for me to tripe out the usual stuff about Skip, and I don't want to be overly harsh. It's just when you're playing midfield for what's supposed to be a dominant club in this league, then you need to impose yourself on the game. You need to do something, whether it's making good tackles, controlling the play, linking up play, threading through passes, making attacking runs, anything to try and impose yourself on the game. And I just don't ever see him impose himself in any way on the game. Sometimes he can play a fairly simple ball fairly simply. But whenever it comes to anything vaguely complicated or good, something that would have a bit of X factor about it, it doesn't have an X factor, it's Y factor. Why bother? Why bother with this player on the pitch? So, an okay performance, but it's notable now that Winks has come on for him twice and clearly looked like a superior player.
Well, do you know what? It's funny how you say it's like, even an average performance, because I would actually argue with these stats that it really tells the tale. 0 ground duels. So here's the problem. It's not only that he's not winning ground duels, he's not even making them. That is the issue, right? Midfielder, the point of being in a midfielder is supposed to be attacking and defending, doing a little bit of everything, not doing a little bit of nothing. Lost possession 5 times. No shots on target. No
he
key
doesn't
passes.
attack, and I don't see him defend
accuracy.
either. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
What the rest of you lads make? I'll give him his rating 4.3. Pretty poor.
That's so generous. So generous, completely anonymous, like not physical, can't win the ball back, can't string a pass together, so he's not even there to build up player, offers nothing.
I think the way I've spoken about him recently in this championship season has been very much he's doing many of the right things when I see him. He's just not succeeding in any of them. He's tracking the right man, doesn't win the physical duel. He's trying to make the right pass, don't get the right weight on it. I swear to God, I see him do quite a lot right. He just can't, he just doesn't win anything that he does. He doesn't do it good enough. Like, he does the right thing, he just doesn't have success with it. Like, I've seen him a million times track his man. I'm thinking, that's a good run in you're tracking here. You're pressing this rightly. Then he tries to tackle the player, and he's the one who falls over. And I'm like, then it doesn't matter if you're doing the right thing, if you're going to fall over when you're trying to tackle the guy you're marking. That's my issue with it, because he just doesn't have the quality to execute the things his mind and he's been instructed to do, which he's trying to carry out. He just
Doug, I think it's a lot worse than that. I think Nick D, he's got the head hitting the nail on the head of the hammer, right? The game passes him by. That is the biggest issue, right? You can actually be like, we'll talk about him in a second, but Lewis Page, I don't think had a good game either. But the difference is that he at least tries to get involved and make some things happen, right? He just didn't execute it. But I'm showing you there with Skip. If you're not ever making the duels and you're never making key passes, it implies that you're not actually participating in the game. It's just, let's say, bypassing you. You're not doing anything. Sean, who says it, doesn't touch the ball. Anyway, look. People say, are we guessing his height rather than putting his average rating? I think that says it all. So let's move on. We know, problem is that obviously we're trying to get him into it. Thank you, Clemo, so much. Stumpy Skip, you are a legend for us. All right, let's move on to Booba. Who wants to take this one? I'll volunteer. Andreas, you take Booba Soumare.
Again, I think it speaks to the level he's shown so far this season, but this was genuinely, I think, his best game this season so far. Obviously, we've only played 3. But he was better. There was a few of the Booba twist we saw in the Premier League, right? Getting the ball with the back to the goal, turning around and progressing the ball. The issue I then had is the few times he did that, he then slowed down in the middle of the park, completely ruining any chance of a quick transition and a quick build-up. So, just speaks to the fact that this was his best game so far this season, and I still think it wasn't more than a 5 at most. His best worst game is probably a good way to put it.
Luke, what did you make of Mr. Soumare?
Anonymous. Had maybe 2 moments in that game, got fouled. And other than that, did nothing, to be honest with you. 3 for me.
He got an assist, you know.
He did get an assist. Do you know what? I'm going to bring this up because you might be surprised if you take a look at his stats here. So let's take a look at them. 98% accurate passes, so percentage, 2 key passes. I mean,
3 long balls.
I think you guys are really doing him a disservice. You look at this. Unlike Skip, this guy did get involved.
I will say for me, I think it's because we know the quality he can have, right?
Yeah.
We've seen glimpses of it for years now. And I guess we were all just a bit tired of it. But I thought by far his best game this season, as I said. Just still not good enough for what I want from him.
Yeah, maybe 3's harsh, but I still think he was anonymous a lot of that game, to be honest with you. I think that's actually a fair score, to be honest. I went a bit in.
Wow, I think you guys have been very harsh. I think he was actually, if you take a look back at that, he was probably the best of those 3 midfielders. I think this always does it. I mean, that facial expression just sums it up, doesn't it? What would you make of that, Mandy? Because obviously I've shown you the stats there, but at the same time, I can definitely agree why people have given him a low score, because you watch that game back and it doesn't feel like, you know, that sort of performance. The game didn't pan out that way. What's your take on Boobs?
It's the same judgment if you hold to Skip or Winks or anyone else in the midfield. You need to be imposing yourself on the game. You need to be standing out to play for this club. It's no good just, you know, making the odd tackle and doing the odd bit and kind of being in shape. We need you to dominate that area if you want to play for this club. That's the standard we're looking for. And Skip doesn't do it, and Booba's not doing it. Now, Booba does do more than Skip. I think that's the important difference, is if it's a choice between the two, I'm still always taking Booba. Not just because he's still a big, physical, imposing player, even though he doesn't utilise his strengths. That's the frustration with Booba, because you think, if you could get your head switched on right, you've got all the attributes to be a damn good player in this league, especially. You know, we're looking for somebody to replace Wilf, step up, man up, and you say, When it comes to the physical stuff, I've got this area covered. You boys do the passing stuff. I'm going to get there. I'm going to bosh someone out the way. I'm going to win the ball. No one's going to get past me, and we'll kick on from there. And he does it very rarely. But we need him to do it for way more consistency in a game. We need him to do it for 80 minutes, not to do it for 10 minutes across the 80.
That's the thing, right? It can't be glimpses.
Yeah, well, you know, I think this is probably the thing that sums up Buba. He slows things down generally, from going forward generally. We almost didn't score because he passed it. He was about to pass it backwards, wasn't he? But he sort
should
of
have released it quicker.
Yeah, it did. All right, let's talk about this young man. This is an interesting one. So he made his first debut, really, Championship debut from the start. Only 17 years old, bright future in the first team. What did we make of Lewis Page? I'll come to you, Luke, on this one to begin with. What did you make of him?
A little bit better in that second half before he got subbed. I feel sorry for him. I think he struggled a bit with the physicality in that first half. Probably a bit nervous as well. He's 17 years old. He's rattled. This is his first league start in the Championship. A lot of pressure potentially being the 10 as well. So I would like to see him get another start again just for his confidence. I think that he's 17. He's definitely a gem in this kid. I think he's going to be good. I also think he had a little bit of lack of support, but unfortunately a little rattled that first half. But I've still got faith in this kid. I think a 4 is fair.
How about the rest of you? What do you think about him? I mean, I think Aaron's quite right to say here that unfortunately players around him did not exactly help him, as he was always surrounded and nobody dragged players away from him. Which I think is true. I think, if you could put a player like this into a team that's already dominant in possession and feeding you the ball a lot, but he kind of very rarely got it. Although I do have to say, a lot of the times he did get the ball, he gave it away quite easily. Manny, what do you think? Sorry, you're having a bit of a stiff drink there, but I don't know
he's not. I don't think he's a 10. I know Locke said that he might be able to play 10. I don't think he's a natural 10. I think his role should be as a left 8 close to Jeremy Monga. I think I saw several bits in pre-season to indicate those two link together particularly well. They've grown up playing together, similar age. They're probably good mates as well. So I think that is the role for him. But I want to see Buba playing probably the right 8, which is maybe not even right for him. I still think we need a midfielder. But we said this about Lewis Page and the other young lads. They're not going to go out there and give you brilliant performances week on week, but you're making an investment in their future. Lewis Page will have learned so much from today's game that it will be so good for his development, playing away, big game, getting a start, playing a different position. Stick with the guy. You don't lose faith and shred the guy's confidence by bidding him off next week. Give the guy another hour next week. The point is, it's always relative to your replacements. If we had a ready-made brilliant player to replace him, then of course you would play that ready-made player. But we're talking about Skip, we're talking about Buba, we're talking about Winks. None of those three do enough to dominate that shirt and say, sorry, Lewis Page, your life is on the bench. Lewis Page is as worthy of anyone as a start. I would only play him an hour to start with. I think we need to be careful that we don't push him too far physically. But his mentality's right. There is definitely a player in there. Make the investment, be patient, stick with the kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? When you're a young lad, you could probably expect a game like this where you just get bullied. And you can see, this is what we see here, that he was involved in a lot of duels. That's what I like. But what you don't see is that he lost everything, right? Because he's fairly small and not got the physicality yet. But you're right. I mean, that's what happens when you're a young player. It's probably going to be a bit of a rough sort of start. He got a 5.2. I think that's probably fair for him.
I'll say one little point. In the second, just before he got taken off, actually, I seem to remember that he was in the left 8 channel. He won us a corner by getting to the touchline for the first time. Mm-hmm. You just see the advantage of having those legs and that ability to reach the touchline. How many times do our midfielders reach the goalkeeper's line, the actual touchline? Very, very rarely. But you remember under Enzo, Wilf always used to do it and KDH always used to do it. So I think there is that potential, like I said, for him to be a left-sided 8, and we saw just a glimpse of that before he got taken off.
I'll say as well, he made that run many, many times. This was just one of the first few times he actually got the ball. I thought he might have not gotten on it too much and did too well with it when he got it, but the relief he provided for the wingers in particular, he was always the one making the run in the half space. Rarely receiving it, but giving breathing room for Monga, for Fatawu, and that allowed them to have better games when they got on the ball.
Yeah, right, well, let's move on from Lewis Page to Another player making his first start. He has obviously come off the bench multiple times. But this was a momentous moment for the Jezza. So I'll give it to you, Manny, because he's your favourite. That means you get Fatawu, dude, Duck. So that's good for you. So talk to me about Jeremy Monga. What do you make of his performance today?
I want Fatawu too. This boy, I'm in total smitten love at first sight. It was first time I saw him touch a football. I saw it instantly. The touch is sensational. The confidence is sensational. Today was a quieter game, perhaps, than his Preston game and others. But the one thing that did stand out is that they're a very physical team today, right? They're very physical. And they have been told by their manager, Nathan Jones, put it on them. Rough him up, get into him, get stuck into him. I don't care if he's 16, you kick him. And they did kick him. And what does he do? He gets up, he laughs, he shakes it off, Taylor Swift style, no problem at all. Just give me the ball again and I'll run at him again. The kid is fearless. It was a quieter game for him today, but again, that's what you're going to get. He's 16 years old. He's not going to be man of the match every single week. He's not Diego Maradona, although he's the closest thing that we've got to him. But the
This
boy,
was good to see, wasn't it, Manny? You called this out during the game that Monga was tracking back. There was an instance where he did lose the ball, which was a bit unfortunate, but he immediately went to try and win it back. And whilst he didn't win it back either, you know, he's got the right attitude, which is good to see. Some more senior players in the team could learn from that, quite frankly.
I'd say all of those young lads that have come through the Seagrave wave have got that right attitude about tracking back. If they lose the ball, if they make a mistake, they don't hesitate. They are drilled, go back and make up for it and win it back. And he tries to aggressively. And even though he's not the biggest lad, whatever he's got, he tries to utilise it and put it about. What is there not to love about this kid? The fact that he started and didn't look out of place is a worry for Steffi Mavididi, because, you know, when he does come back from injury, I mean, how do you displace this kid? It's only protection of his physicality is why you would be displacing. I'm still going to repeat it. I still think there's a spot for him in the 10 slot. I see everything that this boy take the ball on the half turn, spin on a dime, beat the first player. I think he's got a lovely pass on him and he's got a lovely two-shot right foot and left foot. And I still don't know which is his preferred foot. I'm still not 100% sure. I think it's his right, but I'm not.
Right.
Is it his right?
It is, but I know what you're saying. He's
His
pretty
left
good
is
with
pretty. His left
Yeah.
isn't far off his right. Then I mean that's pretty sensational for a 16-year-old, and that's the point. He's 16 years old. Just always a wow for me.
Yeah. What do you make of him, Andreas?
I thought he was good in the glimpse we saw him. Didn't get the ball too much, and doesn't. You don't feel like you're seeing a 16-year-old on the wing in terms of the physicality, which is a trait you rarely see, because often these young wingers and attackers are very good technically or fast or whatever, but the physicality is what they need to build on. That's not a problem here at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, let's move on to someone. What an absolutely fabulous goal. He did it in pre-season. A really good one today. So instead of giving it to you, of course you will be able to comment on him, Manny. Abdul Fatawu, what did you make of him? Tell me about him.
It's rare you have players who, you know, can come off a long injury, a poor game away at Preston, and just not look bothered by it at all, right? The confidence here is unshakable in this young man. The first minute, after everything that's gone on in the week about his post and some backlash to it, and his performance against Preston, he beats his man in the first minute and already looks eager, right? World-class goal from him. The left foot is becoming more and more lethal. And yeah, I mean, wasn't a perfect game, but you cannot love this. He's fantastic. Lovely, lovely player, man.
I like what Clemo says. He says our very own Robin. And I think what he means by that is Arjen Robin. You knew exactly what he was going to do. Every defender in the world knew what he was going to do. And he still did it. He did it time and time again. And he almost won the Ballon d'Or, didn't he? He could have, if he'd have won the World Cup for Holland, he probably would have won it. But I think, I'll come to you, Manny. There are some fair comments here, though. Needs to pass more. He did also have that terrible moment right at the end of the game where, for whatever reason, he tried a trick, lost the ball, and Okoli had to make that great block. And Yannick Vestergaard was going absolutely mental in him. That was probably the only blot on this copybook. But what did you make of Abdul Fatawu today?
1 out of 10 for Abdul. Terrible. Honestly, Abdul, you're my favourite player. I've got you on this very shirt. I chose you above everybody. You've been my favourite player for Donkey since you arrived. What are you doing scoring worldies? There's 10 days to go in the transfer window. People are going to start taking bids for you. We don't want that kind of attention. Thank you for the 3 points, but as soon as the transfer window closes, then do your thing, right? Just wait until it closes, because honestly, I'm going to have sleepless nights this week. I'm not going to enjoy the goal. I'm going to freak out that someone's going to be linked with him that's better than Everton or Sunderland, because he's way better than Everton or Sunderland. Someone mentioned it in the chat now, a Liverpool, a Man City, even, dare I say, a Tottenham. Somebody's going to wake up and realise this boy is a special footballer. Way better than this league. Not a question of Premier League quality, it's Champions League quality. That's what the boy has.
We won't sell him unless we get a ludicrous amount of money. And if that happens, I'll be very, very sad. But I still feel pretty confident we'll keep him.
I think we'll just say we'll agree to sell you at the end of the season, and he'll.
Don't say that, because I want him in the Premier League to keep us up.
I do too, but who says we're even going to get to the Premier League based on our performance today? But I know what you're saying. But
without Abdul, we are not getting to the Premier League. How about that? Yeah. That's how much he's worth. I joke about it during the stream, but he is worth £120 million to us, because without him, we do not get promoted. There is absolute no chance we are going to go up without him.
Putting those £90 million comment up while you're on Jordan Ayew feels a bit... If you're just tuning in, it's not Jordan Ayew's £90 million after his performance today.
Sorry, I meant Zimbabwe dollars when we're talking about Jordan Ayew. Let's move on to Jordan. I don't think there's a player who gets... I think he might be even overtaking Luke Thomas for the most amount of hatred. And quite rightly, I mean, he had another dreadful performance today. Talk to me about Jordan Ayew, Duck.
Brentford won, Villa 0, by the way. That's good news. Carry on.
Shocking today. Shocking today. He just holds the ball too much. Would you please pass it? His hold-up play is good, but you need to pass it when you then hold up the ball, because he can receive it with his back to the goal. He's physical enough to hold it, and then the wingers or the midfielders or something, and then he waits 5 seconds before he does anything. So the whole tempo of the play sucked out of it. It's so frustrating, because he's doing the hard part right, which is holding up the ball when you're being pressed by a big defender in the Championship. Just lay it off. Just play that simple pass. Instead of waiting 5 seconds to then try and scoop turn him yourself and try and score the banger, just pass the fucking ball.
I mean, look at this. It's pretty dreadful statistics. 0.02 XG. One shot, which was off target. One dribble attempt, didn't succeed. No key passes. He did get stuck in terms of the duels, but look at this. He lost possession 11 times. I think that's what's so frustrating. You summed it up, Duck, there very well. Anything you want to add on Jordan Ayew, Manny? I mean, it's just becoming more and more obvious that we need someone up there, because we're going to come to him in a moment, but even when we bring on another striker, we don't look particularly improved, do we?
I think it's telling that it's an away game, and the away game average distance is going to be further away from the attacking goal, and that distance is something that he finds it hard to make up. So when he's just around the box area all day, then he's actually quite clever, quite cute, but the hold-up play is too slow, the laying it off is too slow, the reactions are too slow. He's bloody greedy. He loves a shot from anywhere, and that's going to get annoying for his wingers. Keep giving that time, and they're going to start to get annoyed with him. He's our bench striker. He shouldn't be our starting striker. He's the guy who comes in when you've got an injury or your main striker needs a rest, a breather, or you're trying to hold up a game. But we said this from minute one. He's a 20-minuter who comes on when you're trying to see a game out, win a foul, slow the pace down, all that kind of stuff.
I do think there was someone though who said the odds on him being top scorer of the league were quite low at 13 to 1.
66 to 1. If he's our central striker with our wingers, they should be creating lots of chances for him to get on the end of. And we saw him score one of those goals. Was it Fiorentina?
Yep.
It might be in Fiorentina that he got on the end of it. And you would hope to see that kind of play happening. The problem is that so far they're doubling up on our wingers, so we're not getting too much output. So there's more room central that he could kind of utilise. But one, he's not getting any support in midfield to give him killer through balls. But two, killer through balls have never been his game at this age anyway. He's not a off the shoulder striker like Vardy Prime who's going to run in behind. That's not his game. But what his game is doesn't necessarily utilise what we're trying to do, because him holding it up and laying it off to who? For what? You need him to be able to turn. I know we've been linked with that Millwall striker. The Millwall striker is quite similar in that he can receive the ball, he can hold the ball up, but he can turn and run forward with it. And that's Jordan Ayew, another problem. Again, just he's a plaster, and we need some surgery in that area.
Well, here's another thing that you can talk to me about this Duck as well, because the thing is that he doesn't just play as a striker. He stays on for the whole 90 minutes, and then when Daka comes on, he actually plays as the 10. And
Yeah,
Daka plays on top of him. And I don't think he's particularly good at doing that either. So
I hate when he stays on after the 60th because he's good in the press in the beginning of the game, but he just falls off a cliff at that 65th minute mark. Like you can see he's barely struggling, like he's struggling to run. Just sub him off, man. Just sub him off.
yeah, we definitely need someone up there. He's been a big disappointment, I think. Okay, let's talk about the manager himself then. So, very brave lineup. He chose one of the youngest teams I think we've ever had in our history. Started as 16-year-old, started as 17-year-old. Didn't play any of the players who don't want to be here to begin with. But we got a performance that was maybe fitting of a team that basically has the chaff left in the team. But he did get a win overall. But what do you make of him? And should we be concerned? Because I think if you look at social media, the knives are coming out already. So I'll come to you, Manny. What did you make of Marty Cifuentes today?
I like Marty. I like the way he speaks. I like the way he thinks. I like what he's trying to do. The only thing I would disagree with him is probably about 2 selections in personnel. Apart from that, maybe 3 today with Skip playing. Skip, Thomas, Vestergaard, I still think is a trio I personally wouldn't choose to play. But Thomas was okay second half. Vestergaard was okay today. He took Skip off, as he usually does. And he doesn't have huge amounts of options to work with. He did give Monga a start, albeit, enforced with Mavridi's injury. Lewis Page's start, I like to see. He's not crazy enough to bench Fatawu for someone else, which, believe it or not, Steve Cooper used to do. So there's lots of things to like. Ricardo, he's easing in. I can see things improving, but I think he must be sitting there saying, look, I need some help. I need some reinforcements. We've signed one 38-year-old keeper, and you want me to transform things into a high energetic team. I need some profile. I need some players of my profile, some bodies in the room with high intensity, high energy. So I hope this week is going to be massive for him. I'm sure he's all smiles today. But if that window closes and we don't sign anybody at all, he'll start to go down the Brendan Enzo route of getting frustrated, going, you expect things from me, the fans expect things from me, but I'm not a miracle worker. I need to get some bodies in the room, and I hope they do that for him.
What did you make, Doug? I think that's a fair point what Manny said. Here's an interesting question. Can he stop starting Oliver Skip? But what do you do? Because obviously the answer is not to play Oliver Skip. But if Harry Winks says, I want to go, I'm not going to be here come September the 1st, and you haven't got another option, or does he just have to take a little bit of the ego check and say, it doesn't matter, this guy's just not good enough? Because to be fair, this is a problem in every single game, right? We have not had a convincing performance yet this season.
But I will say we've won both games we've started Skip. We've lost the one we started Winks. I'm not saying Skip is better by any means, but I am also saying that there is a chance that in a week's time you can't choose between Skip and Winks because Winks is out of the club.
Yeah,
like I can understand why he ends up picking that, because there is a good chance they're the only 2 DMs he has if we don't bring anyone in. We desperately need more there. So I feel sorry for him, man. He's working with what he's got. Look at the injuries we've got going on already, right? We've got Ricardo coming back. We've got VK out. So Aluko out, who I think should be starting over Thomas any day of the week at left back. He's doing the best with what he can, right? Didn't come in, didn't have a full preseason either. Came in middle of July. It's not optimal at all. But he's working with what he's got. And I hope that in 2 months' time, the system will look more fluid, the football will be better, the lineup will be more settled, and we'll have less complaints. But until he's been given a fair amount of time and a fair amount of resources by the club, I won't be too quick to judge.
The only thing I say is next game up is obviously Birmingham. And I think that midfield 3 against Birmingham, we do not win that game. We lose quite convincingly. So let's see what he comes up with.
Just to defend Marty slightly, I know it's early in the game, but Preston are beating Ipswich at home, and Ipswich have, they spent 100 and whatever it was last summer and have retained, their favourites to go up and win the whole league. And so it goes to show that perhaps we misjudged some of these teams that we were coming up against. Charlton were robust and strong today. Preston were robust and strong last game. maybe it's not going to be quite the cakewalk that particularly I thought it was going to be. So any kind of win is a win, and it's hard to criticise after that. But as always, room for improvement.
Right, let's move on to the ref. Interesting game from him. What did you make of the referee's performance today, Doug?
Shocking. Absolutely shocking refereeing. The fact that they only walked away with 2 yellow cards after the amount of shirt pulling they did on our players. I'm surprised any Charlton fan with half a brain cell. There was one I saw on the Leicester Twitter post saying, how much did we pay the ref? Wow, I really do not know. I thought he was shocking. I thought, again, what does it take to get a foul? That was all over the place. Sometimes it was just a little nudge. Other times the shit was almost being pulled off them. Or 2 for the tackle, and they was told to play on. I felt like that mostly happened for us, but I felt like sometimes too, we got away with murder, and sometimes they got fouls they should have never gotten, and they didn't get fouls they should have gotten. I thought he was horrific refereeing. But it is what it is in the championship.
I think this is funny. I agree with Nick here. He was not as bad as last week.
Yeah, not as bad, but he was also shocked.
But he still got a 4.5. That one that took the piss was Soumare, where the guy was basically riding him like
on the shorts as well. It was one hand on the shirt, one hand on the shorts, just pulling. Like, I don't know.
I think we've seen a couple of games now where they just don't offer you as much protection as they do in the Premier League. I think they let things go a bit more, which is kind of like the old school reputation of the league. It's a bit more rough and physical, but that's what we're seeing so far. I thought the ref against Preston was complete and utter total garbage. Today was just garbage. But yeah, again, just people getting dragged, especially on the transition. So many transitions where players are dragging players back, pulling shirts, getting in the way, like blatantly blocking. All this just foul. You need to get the cards out earlier. And they could have easily had a man sent off today for 2 yellows with the amount of fouls and pullbacks that they were doing. So they were stopping. It was clever from them. It's streetwise. It's cute. Yeah, it's what they're told to do and they're supposed to do. But it's on the referee to allow the game to flow more and stop this kind of cynical defending that they tried.
I think the problem is though is that like the championship's always been like this. I think just for us, we've been accustomed to the Premier League. But I kept talking about Nigel Pearson days during the stream. And it's like, this game was just like so championship to me in every which way. Just got to get used to it. Right, let's move on. So we're talking about subs. We made 5 subs again, which I think is something that we don't talk about, Marty. I like it. He makes 5 subs every game. So that means a lot of the younger players get chances to play. We saw Silko Thomas, who we'll come on to a bit later. But one of the subs that tends to come on a lot is, of course, Postman Patson Daka. None of our strikers have scored a goal yet this season. Talk to me, Duck. What did you make of Patson Daka when he came onto the pitch?
Yeah, he has the pace, right? There was one time where I think he maybe could have gotten a good chance when he got a long ball. The defender didn't handle it properly, but what did they do? Well, they pulled the shirt off and got a yellow card for it, right? I don't know what do you want to say, man. What we always say, he's honking the first touch. He's not good enough. His contract runs out in a year. Hallelujah.
Well, he seems worse to me this time than he was last time around. But maybe that's because we're playing with you can see the team isn't playing as well, so they can't even facilitate him. Have you got anything to say about him, man? I know you quite rightly say that he's got the pace, but he can't control the ball at pace. So that's why he's just fast. Well, he's not fast switch fibers. He's just fast. That's it, right?
I just don't see the point of having him on the pitch. I don't have any confidence he's going to come on and score a goal should we need one. I don't have him confidence in that he's going to run channels and hold up the ball or lay it off or do anything at all. At this stage, there's a week to go. I mean, I kind of assumed that he would be okay for this league, but I'm not convinced at all. And I think if there's anybody in emergency who fancies a striker in the last week of the window, then even though we don't have any other strikers,
Ipswich made call us up 15 million just for you.
Let him go. 2 million, 3 million, anything that ends in million, let him go. Right, that'll do. And I'd rather see false nines. I'd rather see Try Mavadini there. I'd rather see something crazy like that. Stick with Ayew. Try. Look what else. Try Jake Evans there. At this stage, I have try Silko Thomas, definitely ahead of Daka as far as I'm concerned now. Yeah. So, where is this guy going to fit in? He's still on big salary. Get him off your books. It's another wages gone. But the key thing is we've got to replace. But take a pure gamble on a loan from nowhere over this guy. I just don't see
I
the
agree.
point.
We've got to get someone in this. If we go on
Anyone.
like this, it's going to be a grim season, I think. All right. Speaking of someone who I think did make a big difference when he came on, Harry Winks. I'll give this one to you, Manny, because I know he's not your favourite player, but Championship Winks is something different.
I always knock this player. Okay, I always do. I hate this. Oh, he's good in the Championship, because I'm never judging a player by how good they are in the Championship. I'm still thinking, will he be good enough for the Premier League? Or I always think that way. Or could he be good enough for the Premier League given Championship experience? But he's better than Skip. There's no doubt about that. He comes on. He played well today. I thought he had a really good game actually when he came on. His effort levels were there. There's a few question marks about his attitude and his links, but whether he's playing to be in the shop window because he's hoping that someone will come for him or not. So far, 2 out of the 3 games he's been good. He does link the play better. He's a better passer. I think he's got better game awareness and understanding.
Yes.
He's got better game control than Skip has.
Yeah.
So at least he
Just
does
think
do
about what we
things in the
bought him
game
for
to make an
compared to
effect.
Skip, by the way.
Like he does kind of what you expect Harry Winks to be able to do, but his rival Skip for the same slot just doesn't do anything whatsoever. He had a good game
Skip
today.
is not a midfielder, in my opinion. I think you've just basically put, because I keep saying to you, attributes are one thing, but like he doesn't understand the position. Where you see Harry Winks come onto the pitch, and Winks does understand the position. I just got the stats up there. Short passing accuracy, 100%. He made one cross that didn't go to his target, but it almost created a goal. He slowed the game down when it needed to be, but played the ball forwards when it needs to be. He controlled the game, is what he said. That's your goal. It's a set a tempo, isn't it?
And we lack control, haven't we? The first 3 games, we've lacked control in the game. So I'm kind of changing my opinion in terms of he's got a year left. But I keep saying that, there's a lot of players I'd like to get out the door, but we have to have enough players to still get up. And, whilst I would love to sell Skip and even sell Boober if an offer came for him, that we need to have some people in there who are capable of getting you up. And even though he's been linked with Valencia and maybe some other clubs too, I'm starting to think that we're unlikely to get 2 or 3 new midfielders in a week. So maybe we actually need this guy to help get us up.
Definitely not a number 10, but he is a good 6. I think he's even a passable 8. Go on, Doug. Do you want to say something there?
No, I agree with what Manny said. It's annoying his attitude about the club seems to be in the gutter, right? Because otherwise he could be huge for us again this season.
All right, talk to me about Wout Faes. That dead-eye expression says it all. Another man that doesn't want to be here.
I don't think I have much to say about him today. He came on for 10 minutes, didn't stick out, was defending. I didn't notice him much. He just did his duties in the defence for the 10 minutes he was on.
Gelf is back, I think. I actually think he's been good on the pitch this season, whenever he's been on, including scoring a goal. I don't really care about his antics off the pitch or what he says to the fans. All I care about is your performance on the pitch. If he gets a move, good for him. We'll get some money. We can look at replacements. If he doesn't get a move, I think he'll be perfectly fine at this level. And he's in the same category at Winks, in that even though he's not a long-term answer, he does have the quality to get us promoted. So I've got no issue with him staying. If it's only 1 year, I've got no issue with him leaving. If we can take the money, that will work too. Again, we'll have to focus on replacements if we sell him.
Apparently, he's also got ducks in your next hairstyle as well. So you're going to start.
I don't think I can grow that out there. I don't think I can get it that crazy.
All right, let's move on to the return of someone we were very happy to see. It was Ricky P. Missed this guy. And again, if you look at the stats since he was on the pitch, pretty highly rated, if I bring this up.
He was elite the 10 minutes he was on.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's still a brilliant player. He's brilliant.
He's brilliant.
He is brilliant.
If only he wasn't made of glass in those legs, man.
He's calming, he's soothing, he's smart, he understands what to do, he has game awareness, he has situational awareness, he knows what pass to play, his positioning's good, he can adapt his invert, he can play wing, he can play right back, he's probably play central midfield. I'm starting to think, I think someone mentioned in the chat, maybe Ricky P in midfield if you want to keep Hamza or we don't sell JJ. He's got brains as a footballer. I like that. He's intelligent. He's also our club captain. His attitude is always brilliant, always has been bang on. I think he does have leadership qualities as an individual. I would definitely follow Ricky if I was a member of his team. I love him, again, but that's the problem, isn't it? He's just... how many more miles has he got left on the clock?
Yeah, you worry every time a team sheet's about to come out if something's happened, right? And he's all of a sudden out of it because he's been injured or having something, right?
I mean, here's an interesting one. I kind of agree with this. Is play him in the skip position and keep Hamza at right back. But you can see he did come on for Hamza, and you can see he basically did operate as a right back, and he proved he's very good in that position. But is that the missing piece? Do we need to go back to him being in the middle to give us a bit more control? Or are we just being a little bit too blue-tinted glasses?
Can we pause on that? Because I think this is a very, very, very important question about what we do. And I'm worried about Booba defending because at times he's sloppy, right? Sometimes he makes a good tackle. Sometimes the guy will get past him. You know, we know that Ricky and Winks together in the double pivot works a treat in this league. They know how to work off each other. The team knows how to work with it. You still utilise your wingers. Then the problem becomes the eights. But I think Lewis Page can play left eight. So we have one problem slot, which is right eight. Booba has the attributes to play that role. Whether he can or he can't, I have my doubts now. But there's one slot we could buy. One midfielder for a right eight if you put Ricky P in a double pivot. What that also means is that you can bin off Thomas and you can play a third centre-back, which we have currently in Wout Fass, which is perfectly good enough in this. It kind of sounds like I'm just going back to Enzo ball, which is exactly what I'm doing. But what that does do, it gives your wingers support. And I think that is a big problem. That the wingers are having to... You can't rely on Abdul to stick it in the top corner from 25 yards every week. He's not going to do that. So we need some more support to get our real threat, which is Abdul and Monga, get them into attacking situations where they can cause the most damage. At the moment, they're getting double, tripled up. So they need support. In order to create that support, Ricky has to come back in as a double pivot.
Yeah, I agree with that. Any thoughts on that, Dog?
No, sorry, I was a bit zoned out.
Thanks, Dak. Cheers, appreciate that.
Whereas, well, let's end with someone who's so fresh, we didn't even have the proper page for him set up. So Silko Thomas made his league debut, competitive debut for Leicester. What did you make of the short time that Silko Thomas was on the pitch? I'll give that to you for Dak. And it's the last player. We're going to wrap it up after this.
I did think Silko Thomas, he looked like a bit of a workhorse, right? He looks all right with the ball, to be honest. Didn't see too much of him. He was thrown around, first on the left wing, then on the right with the changes. He looks like an all right player. I'm not buzzing when he came on. Congratulations on his debut. I thought his work rate looked good, and we'll see if he has a bit of a part to play.
Yeah, I think he tracked well whenever we brought us in the game, and he did track back too. What do you make of it, Manny?
Good work rate. I like that. Like I said, everyone said he was tracking, he was running, he was showing effort, he was showing energy. The only one little thing I'll say is there was a game situation awareness. I think it was like 87, 88 minutes or something. And he's running down a blind alley and he just crosses it in the box, kind of standing. Yeah. Be aware. This is a tough game. They want to launch it from anywhere. Just keep the ball territorially in that corner, win a throw-in, win a corner, use your brain, okay? But I've seen many smarter footballers doing similar things. Don't put a silly cross in the box. I was watching a David Ginola documentary the other day, and remember that famous time where it was the last minute of the game, the World Cup qualifier. David Ginola has the ball in the corner. Yeah. He puts a cross into nobody. 3 passes later, they scored the last kick of the game. France don't qualify for the World Cup.
He never played for France again after
Never played for France again. Correct. Yeah. And I keep thinking, I wish you knew that story. Because it's the same bloody situation. Keep it in the corner, man. Keep it in the corner. So something to learn from Silko. But again, I don't want to loan Silko out necessarily because we have a lack of bodies in that area. And he would be my third, fourth choice option on the bench because he has energy. And we saw in one of the preseason games with a nice finish that there's something there. But I put him above Daka. That's the best compliment.
Would you put him in front of Will Alves, who didn't get another... Again, missed out today, Will Alves.
I'm sorry to say, I've seen enough of Will Alves to say Will Alves is on the for sale list, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
sorry.
Fair enough. All right, well, we'll wrap things up there. That was the championship. Here are some of the other results from around the same kickoff. Obviously, there's a lot of games going on right now. You can see Swansea and Watford drew 1-1. Blackburn beat Hull 3-0 away. That's pretty massive. The rest of the games are going on. As for us, Charlton game's over, so here's our next one is this Friday, so you don't have to wait too long for it. And we've got Birmingham City. That is
will be a fun game.
Yeah.
If Ricky is injury free and ready to start, I think that will make a huge difference. But we'll see. Also depending on who leaves and transfer business, of course.
There's a very strong case for Ricky starting in that Birmingham game. Very strong case.
I've got to say, I'm very worried for that game based on our performances so far. But you never know. Maybe knowing it will be a big game will bring out. Do you remember a bit like Southampton when last time we were in the Championship, we weren't playing particularly well, and then we turned up against Southampton and just boshed them off the face of the earth. We'll have to see.
I still have confidence in Neil that we've got the double threat. If one week it's Monga, the next week it's Fatawu. If one doesn't get you, the other one is gonna.
I thought you were going to talk about Ayu and Daka or Soumare and Skip, the double threat.
I bypass those.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like the stream. Leave some comments below. We'll see you tomorrow for Good Morning Foxes at 9:30. Thank you for tuning into Blue City Glasses, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen.